First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Good evening and welcome to First at 5 from WUFT News. I'm Jacob Sedesse.
And I'm Chris Will. Thank you for joining us.
A 17-year-old suspect dead after Denver police say he shot 2 staff members performing a safety search in front of a school.
NBC's Morgan Chesky tells us about the suspect and the shooting.
The manhunt that began after a student opened fire essentially on the steps here of Denver's East High School ended late last night when authorities confirmed that members of a SWAT team had identified the body of 17-year-old Austin Lyle about 50 miles away from where this shooting took place early yesterday morning when officials say 2 school administrators were performing a pat-down on the 17-year-old when he opened fire. Now, that pat-down protocol was put in place after officials say that Lyle had violated some sort of school rule or district policy that remains unknown at this time. The administrators were both wounded. One of the men has since been released from a Denver hospital, but the other remains in serious condition. Right now, we're still hoping to find out a potential motive from authorities and how this 17-year-old was able to obtain that handgun that is now in possession of investigators. But we are getting a better picture as to the past of this gunman. The Cherry Creek District confirming to NBC News that Lyle was expelled from an Aurora area high school last year following a, quote, break in district policy. We don't know exactly what that means, but we hope to have investigators elaborate on that over the next 24 hours. In the meantime, there will be armed guards in place here at Denver's East High School and at other comprehensive area high schools here following the announcement from the superintendent that he wants to make sure every student is safe. Morgan Chesky, NBC News.
And a 15-year-old is in custody tonight after making an online threat toward an Alachua County high school. 15-year-old Stanisha Brown has been arrested and charged with 3 separate felonies. An Alachua County Sheriff's Office statement says an Instagram post threatened to, quote, shoot up the school. The caption warned students, don't come to school on Monday if you ain't trying to die. Detectives were able to track down that account that was made early Friday and link it to Brown. Authorities arrived at her house where she had been all day. A consensual search of her phone found the account and the post. The Sheriff's Office statement says Brown denied any involvement. A woman is in the hospital after suffering from severe dog bite wounds. Animal resource officers were able to locate the dogs and they are in custody. The incident took place at Gainesville's Sunningdale Division Wednesday afternoon. 3 dogs were involved and the victim was bit multiple times. The owner of the dogs was located, but the dogs were being held at the shelter pending further investigation.
Gainesville's GRU debt problem is proving to be a heavy cloud hanging over other commission business. In a general policy committee meeting today, there were many references that the city may have to raise revenue in various ways to change its financial approach to GRU. Commissioners expressed concern over a state bill that, as drafted, would establish a governor-appointed board to oversee GRU rather than the city commission. City leaders hope that idea will fail or can be legally challenged or can be politically negotiated into a different form. 4 Gainesville trees have been the center of multiple lawsuits for obstructing walkability and accessibility of the sidewalks downtown.
Yeah, WFT's Ashley Weinstein attended the city commission meeting where a unanimous decision was made on the fate of these trees.
Jacob, Chris, the city plans to remove one of the 4 trees. Community comment at the meeting pushed to preserve all 4 trees. Here's how it unfolded. To remove the trees or not to remove the trees? This was the afternoon debate at the commission meeting. The main concerns, the trees on Southeast 1st Street and Southeast 1st Avenue.
Now more than ever, it is critical to protect and restore our trees.
This is a Florida problem, this is a Gainesville problem, this is a country problem.
Local tree advocates want to keep the 4 trees in question at all costs. Some locals understand the need to remove the trees.
I do think the sidewalks need to be much more accessible, especially taking account of the disabled community here in Gainesville.
City commissioners want to preserve the local tree canopies while also fixing the sidewalks.
There's nobody who doesn't care about the people who use the sidewalks, and there's nobody here who doesn't care about the tree canopy.
I'm standing on Southeast 1st Avenue next to one of the trees that has caused numerous complaints to the city regarding sidewalk accessibility and walkability. As you can see, this tree is halfway into the sidewalk with some pokier parts hanging out here, and the ground is raised due to most likely the roots growing under the sidewalk, which is what many people are complaining about regarding the walkability and accessibility on Southeast 1st Avenue. The decision came over 2 hours after colorful discussion. One of the trees deemed too outgrown to preserve will be removed. The other 3 will undergo root cutbacks and preservation. Commissioners say all sidewalks should be accessible after these adjustments. Commissioners also plan to speak with restaurant owners about moving their sidewalk barriers. Back to you.
Thanks, Ashley. Of course, it's hard to think about trees without thinking about nature and, of course, the weather.
Right, and the weather has been so beautiful these past few days. WUFT's Derrah Getter joins us now with the weather forecast. Derrah?
This model has temperatures forecasted near 90 degrees, 87 in Gainesville, with that sea breeze having temperatures feeling a bit cooler along the east-west coast. But I think we didn't quite make it there today. Outside on your campus cam, we have an area of high pressure keeping those clouds away, and it feels like 84, so we weren't too far off. Over the next couple of hours, we are going to be cooling down into the upper 50s tonight, and there is a chance for some patchy fog tomorrow, so I'll have more on exactly how that's going to affect your morning commute coming up.
Thanks, Derrah. The Florida Board of Education may approve a tighter rule for middle and high schools when implementing the law that critics call Don't Say Gay. The law limits lessons on sexual orientation and gender identity to age-appropriate material for students above 3rd grade. Implementing the new rule would ban lessons on those 2 topics for all grades. As written, there are 2 exceptions: if it's required to meet a state education standard, or if it's part of a reproductive health lesson where parents can have their kids opt out. The proposal is scheduled for a vote next month. The change could bolster Governor Ron DeSantis and his image as a culture warrior if he gets into the presidential race. On the campaign trail in New Hampshire, Republican candidate Nikki Haley recently said a ban that only protects kindergarten through 3rd grade does not go far enough. And a bill to eliminate unanimous jury recommendations in death penalty cases is on its way to the Senate floor. The Senate Rules Committee voted 15-4 to approve a bill that death sentences are to be imposed if 8 out of 12 jurors vote for it. The discussion to change the current standard arose after Nicholas Cruz received a life sentence for the murders of 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Bill sponsor Blaise Ingoglia says this is an effort to avoid one protest juror from preventing a death sentence. The bill's next move is to go to the full Senate.
The Federal Reserve hiked interest rates by 1/4 of a point. The Fed's 9th consecutive rate hike takes the benchmark federal funds rate to between 4.75% and 5%. Committee Chairman Jerome Powell said future increases are not assured.
Inflation remains too high, and the labor market continues to be very tight. My colleagues and I understand the hardship that high inflation is causing, and we remain strongly committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal.
Powell adds that a series of bank collapses, including that of Silicon Valley Bank and other historic events in the banking system, will likely result in tighter credit conditions.
Also today in Washington, TikTok's CEO is facing questions about the app's privacy concern on Capitol Hill.
That's right, but first we've got to look at how, despite these concerns, UF students have refused to leave the app behind. That and more when we get back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. Despite University of Florida administration discouraging the use of TikTok, many students refuse to listen. WUFT's Lauren Suggs talked to students who continue to use the app. Lauren, what did they tell you?
Jacob, the students I spoke with told me the email the university sent out discouraging the app wasn't effective, and some students took it as a joke. In the email sent on January 12th, Vice President and CIO Elias Aldeiri explained the app's controversial privacy concerns. He said TikTok may be used by foreign countries to collect data despite the risk. UF students continue to use the social media platform anyway. With about 87 million TikTok users in the US in 2021, TikTok is a popular app among college students. While many students choose to keep the app, legislation from the state and federal government may soon limit TikTok use. Other schools across the country have taken action against TikTok, including the University of Texas at Austin and Georgia College. To read my full article on the matter, visit wuft.org.
Thanks, Lauren. As she just showed us, TikTok is still popular amidst the controversy, but privacy concerns are still growing nationally. NBC's Bree Jackson has the latest on the push from Capitol Hill to ban the app.
We're headquartered in Los Angeles.
TikTok's CEO, So Chu, on the hot seat, facing bipartisan pressure.
Your platform should be banned.
Big tech has transformed the information superhighway into a super spreader of harmful content.
The popular app hails 150 million U.S. users. Lawmakers raise concerns about the Chinese government's influence on and access to their data. Chu says safety measures are already in place.
American data stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American personnel.
Lawmakers say those efforts are not enough.
You damn well know that you cannot protect the data and security of this committee or the 150 million users of your app, because it is an extension of the CCP.
Committee members repeatedly challenged Chu on safety and surveillance tactics.
It is our commitment to this committee and all our users that we will keep this free from any manipulation by any government.
If you can't say 100% certain, I take that as a no.
The heated hearing comes amid a bipartisan push to crack down on foreign-based platforms. Senator Mark Warner tells me privacy concerns extend beyond TikTok.
We need to be ready not only for TikTok, but when we see foreign-based technology from countries like China and Russia, we've got to have tools in the toolkit.
Content creators say banning the app puts their livelihoods at risk.
TikTok has been essential in helping me build my business over the past few years.
Our app is a place where people can be creative and curious.
Chu and lawmakers agree user safety is a top priority, but they're on how to do that.
Yeah, TikTok CEO might be on the hot seat, but anyone in our area can certainly feel the heat.
That's right, Chris. Derrah Getter is back with an in-depth look at what we can expect outside these next few days. Derrah.
In the next few days are about to climb. I'll have more on exactly how hot it's about to get when we return.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
So far today, we've seen temperatures in the mid-80s. Outside on your campus cam, not a cloud in sight. We have an area of high pressure sitting above the Gulf, keeping those clouds away for much of central Florida. It feels like 84 degrees out right now, so not quite as high as 87 degrees. And there is a south breeze moving in, becoming southeast later on this evening, which is going to move some of that moisture in, giving us the chance to see some patchy fog tomorrow morning. You'll be waking up to temperatures in the upper 50s, 57 in Gainesville, but notice how most of that fog is centered in the panhandle, though there is the chance to see some areas of fog, especially if you're south of Palatka. Tomorrow, the high temperature at 88 degrees here in Gainesville, with that sea breeze having things feeling a bit cooler for Perry and Cedar Key. Looking ahead to your weekend, we are tracking a slim chance for rain on Saturday, with your high reaching at 84. And on Sunday, if we don't see any showers in our area, those temperatures are really going to climb. 89 on Sunday, and it looks like it's going to be a bit drier. Here are the showers that we're tracking. You can see how widespread and scattered they are as they move along south with that cold front, and as they continue to push further south, they're going to continue to break up. So it looks like our chance to see rain this weekend is slim to none. The rest of this week, temperatures are going to continue to climb, but notice we do have several chances for rain to come cool us down. 89, the forecast high on Sunday, and temperatures could get higher than that if we don't see any rain in our area. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. And just in time for spring, a new mosquito just dropped. The Culex latimer has established itself in 3 counties across the state. That's according to a new IFAS study published in the Journal of Medical Epidemiology. There are about 90 mosquito species currently in Florida, but that list is growing as more species are introduced to the state from other parts of the world. This species in particular comes from Central America and northern South America. The species has so far only been seen in Miami-Dade, Collier, and Lee counties.
New mosquito just dropped.
Jacob, it's been a roller coaster, hasn't it, for the women's basketball team here at the University of Florida, but they have a massive game tonight.
That's right, Chris. As our very own Cristina Santiago tells us, the Gators are set to take on Clemson tonight in the Super 16 of the WNIT. That's up in sports after the break. Stay with us.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Cristina Santiago. The Florida women's basketball team continues their WNIT journey tonight against Clemson in the Super 16. The Gators look to tame the Tigers in Florida's 4th ever Super 16 appearance. This is the 5th time Florida has ever played Clemson, with the Tigers leading the all-time series 3-1. The Gators will look to lean on Nina Rickards, who again has scored a career high of 25 points in their second round win against Wake Forest. Tip-off for this game is scheduled for 7 p.m. The madness of March continues tonight, with 3 SEC teams remaining in the men's Sweet 16. The number 8 seeded Arkansas Razorbacks will face number 4 UConn tonight, while number 4 Tennessee looks to put an end to number 9's FAU's Cinderella story. Former Gator Keontae Johnson and number 3 Kansas State will face number 7 Michigan State, and number 3 Gonzaga will face number 2 UCLA in this can't-miss matchup. Tomorrow, number 1 Alabama will play number 5 San Diego State. Number 5 Miami will face number 1 Houston, and number 15 Princeton will take on number 6 Creighton, and number 3 Xavier will play number 2 Texas. It was an up and down season for the first-year men's head basketball coach Todd Golden. In his end-of-year press conference, Golden said the team needs to improve crashing the boards moving forward.
Maybe we learned is just we need a little more usage out there. I think that's something that held us back at times. It was not having enough guys that can go get a basket, when things break down. So moving forward, I think we'll address that a little bit.
Florida will continue to build its roster this offseason as they prepare to replace departing players. Yesterday was a historical day for Florida women's tennis as they upset a top 3 ranked opponent. The number 19 ranked Gators defeated number 3 Michigan 4-1. Alicia Dundee and Benty Spree played a key role as they defeated the number 2 ranked doubles pair in the country. This is Florida's first win against a top 5 opponent since 2018 and the first against a top 3 opponent since 2017. They'll look to keep this momentum going as they face Mississippi State tomorrow at 5 p.m. Florida softball defeated Stetson 4-1 yesterday. Lexi Delbry allowed only 1 hit in yesterday's win. Florida has now won 6 of their last 7, and they'll go on for another one this Friday against Arkansas.
Thanks, Christina. A 4-day art and mural festival kicked off Wednesday night in High Springs. The Wall Dogs are an international community of highly skilled mural artists. They will paint 10 murals to showcase the city's rich history. Aside from the pros, anyone can come paint. There is a specific mural set aside for local youth to put their artistic skills to use. This way, citizens can see their artwork in the community and feel as if they're making an impact.
That is so cool, Chris. I love going to check out arts in the community, so I'll have to see only if the weather holds up, though. Derrah, what can we expect this weekend?
Well, if you're taking the kids out to play on the playground this evening, there is a south breeze becoming southeast later on tonight, which is going to bring in some moisture for you to see the chance for some patchy fog tomorrow morning on your commute. Now, it's not going to be super dense in our area, but it is going to be mainly focused in the panhandle. The rest of this week, we do have some chances for rain over the weekend and the beginning of next week, but those chances are very, very slim, and these showers are very scattered, bringing temperatures near 90. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. That is it for First at 5. Thank you so much for tuning in. BBC World News is next, and PBS NewsHour is on at 7.
But remember, your Florida news is always on at WFT.org. Have a good night.